The movie Shine was released November 20th, 1996, and was produced by Jane Scott. This film was based on the life events of David Helfgott. David was born May 19th, 1947, to Peter and Rachel Helfgott in Melbourne, Australia. The film Shine outlines David's life as a young boy and his life as a man. The movie flashes between these 2 points in his life. As a young boy, the audience sees David's piano skills flourish. He competed in his first competition and attempted a very difficult piece. When he did not win, his father dragged him home and was extremely disappointed in David. A judge that was at the competition saw lots of potential in David and began teaching David to become a skilled pianist. As David became more skilled at playing the piano, his father had higher expectations of him. He often told David, "You must always win." He wanted David to play the hardest pieces, and if David did not succeed, he would physically abuse him. After winning a predominant music competition, David is offered a spot in the coveted Royal College of Music. This is an amazing opportunity for David to make a name for himself in the music industry. However, David's father refuses to let him attend the school, constantly telling David, "You will ruin your family." David seeks solace and guidance from an older woman, Gagi Withers. He plays the piano for her in her home, and each day their friendship grows. She believes in David and his piano skills. Gagi encourages David to follow his dreams of attending the Royal College of Music. After multiple arguments and physical beatings, David decides to leave his family and move to London to attend the Royal College of Music. After David leaves home, the audience sees David's father completely disconnect from all of David's achievements by burning the scrapbook that contained all the newspaper clippings about David's achievements. Once David is in London, he is noticed by one of his professors, Dr. Cryle Parks, who personally teaches David. They spend many hours one-on-one practicing and rehearsing for the upcoming performances in the school. To cope with the stress of losing his family and the stress of school, David constantly writes to Gagi. Due to David's skill, he is instantly noticed within the school and gains his own fame. David makes it to the finals of one of the biggest music competitions at the school and decided to tackle the impossible piece that his father always wanted him to play, Rachmaninoff Piano Concerto No. 3. While rehearsing for this difficult piece, David was devoting all his time to learning the music and playing the notes constantly. The audience sees David's physical appearance begin to deteriorate as he dove deeper and deeper into practicing for this piece. In the midst of this intense rehearsal, David receives the terrible news that his mentor from home, Gagi Withers, had passed. During this performance of this intense piece, the audience sees David unravel. He was sweating, swaying, and closed his eyes. It seemed that he was not even in control of his own body. Once David finishes his performance, the audience explodes into applause. When David goes to take a bow, he collapses. The next scene, David is receiving electroshock therapy and was institutionalized. David resided in the mental institution and often wandered the streets of London. One night, he found himself in a diner and began playing the piano again. He started performing at this restaurant frequently. The owner of the restaurant introduced David to his future wife, who helped him with his mental illness issues and got him back to playing the piano. To end the movie, David married and moved out of the hospital to a house with his wife. The Australian film Shine became extremely well known and received various accolades. Some of these awards include Golden Globes for Best Performance by an Actor in a Motion Picture Drama, Academy Award for Best Actor, the Australian Academy of Cinema and Television Art Award for Best Supporting Actor, Award for Best Lead Actor, and Award for Best Film. David currently resides in the Promised Land, which is located in South Wales with his second wife, Gillian. He has resumed his music career and currently tours around Europe, Australia, and other parts of the world. Compared to the films we have seen in this course, this Australian film was not based in the Australian outback. This film was taking place in the mid-20th century in the suburban areas of Australia. David's father had a blue-collar job, and many times the family was struggling for money. This scenery was synonymous with the working-class living that you would expect to see in America as well during this time. This is a very different part of Australia that we have not previously seen in this course, and it was a very different style of living that ultimately impacted David's life. The idea of Australianness was constructed in this film through the father's ultimate goal for David to win and to be the best in the country. For David's father, he took it as a personal disappointment if David received anything but first place. When David finally achieved this goal by winning first at a national competition, David was also offered a spot at the Royal College of Music. However, David's father was opposed to this idea because he wanted David to stay in Australia and to be the best. Currently, the Australianness that surrounds David is extreme national pride for this music prodigy. He returned to Australia and performed at the Sydney Opera House in 1996. He was so popular that he performed 4 sellout shows. The Edith Cowan University in Western Australia awarded him an honorary doctorate of music. In 2006, David was inducted into the Australian Walk of Fame. In January of 2009, the Australian Monument was dedicated to David. In 2013, David returned to his high school in Perth, and a music room was named after David in dedication to him. All of these awards and accolades embody the amount of pride and love the Australian people have for David. He is an inspiration across Australia and is a well-known name.